When Fluid first released, a student asked if you could style one homepage tile differently from the rest. Well, the answer is always yes. The real question is, how? With 8.5.5 and later, we could use event mapping to apply a custom HTML attribute to each tile, and then write CSS for a specific attribute. But we don't have to do that anymore because PeopleTools 8.6.0 provides the attribute for us. The release notes call it the Grouplet ID. Let's take a look. So here I am on a homepage and I have multiple tiles. And let's take a look at one of these tiles. Let's say our scenario is we want to hide the label for the remote worker dashboard. So I'm going to right click, inspect to view the HTML, and we can see the tile HTML with the Grouplet ID attribute. And I want to copy all of this. And then I'm going to go over to my style rules section to create a style rule, mock one up here in my web browser. So the rule that I want is to select all divs that have Grouplet ID equal to the manager dashboard Grouplet ID. And I hit the enter key and I can see that it has in fact selected that item through CSS. I'm hovering over on the right and on the left, I can see that tile is outlined. Perfect, but I don't actually want the tile itself. I want the header inside the tile. So let's further qualify this selector dot ps underscore grouplet h, and then we'll type in display none. Fantastic. The label just disappeared. So here's what I would do to persist this. I would grab the CSS I've mocked up in my web browser, and then in Application Designer, I would create a freeform sub-style sheet, paste in this CSS, and then attach it to this menu component combination using event mapping, probably component pre-build, or I could load it using a custom theme style sheet. So what is the Grouplet ID? It's the content reference ID. The release notes say Oracle added the Grouplet ID to support Oracle guided learning. But what else can you do with it? So here's my favorite. Each of these tiles represents a content reference. And let's say you want to modify one of them, or maybe one of them is misbehaving and you have to find a solution. Where in the portal registry does this tile or that tile exists? What's the navigation path? Because if you can't find it, you can't fix it. Now, since the Grouplet ID is the content reference ID, we can use enterprise components, find object navigation to locate the tile metadata. Let me show you. So in the navigator, I will go to enterprise components, find object navigation, and I'm going to put in a content reference name. Now, keep in mind, I have on my clipboard the entire attribute, not just the value. So let's locate that manager dashboard. Fantastic. That's it. I'll press the search button and we can see the portal registry folder, PeopleTools portal structure and content. And this is the path to find that content reference. That's going to tell us what type of content reference is it? Is it component based? Is it a generic PeopleSoft URL? Then we can go to the security tab and see the security information, what permission lists are associated with this. And then we can go to the Fluid Attributes tab to see how PeopleSoft is generating the face for this tile. Here's one more way we can use this Grouplet ID. We can use it to launch tiles from PTF. Now, prior to Grouplet ID, the only way to locate a tile was by label. Let's take a look at a homepage. Each one of these tiles has a label. The way that we did that in the past was to create a scroll key to loop through all of the rows in a row set, or in this case, all of the tiles that you see on the screen, finding the first one with the matching label. Now, this was obviously time consuming because of the loop, and it also didn't handle multilingual installations. So let's do this. Let's see if we can record a PTF test case to click one of these tiles based off the Grouplet ID. So I'm going to right click on my team, locate the Grouplet ID attribute. Fantastic. That's it there. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to copy the whole thing. Again, just like we did when we were writing CSS. And then in PTF, let's create a test case. This is going to be a starting because PTF, I didn't see a way to put in a Grouplet ID attribute as we're recording. So what we're going to do is we're going to record and then we're going to fix up the test afterwards. So I've launched the recorder. Now I'm going to hook the browser. I'm going to wait to start recording until after we are after we've logged in. That way we're only recording the bare minimum. The start login part is already there. That would just be extra steps I'd have to delete later. So now I'll go ahead and press the record button, and I'm going to click on my team. And what you'll see in the PTF recorder is that PTF recorded a div click. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. The difference is we want a different recognition. So I'm going to stop the recorder now and return to my PTF editor. And what we see is that it recorded that I clicked on row number 6. It's actually the 7th tile if you were to count them out, but it's 0-based row number 6. That's subjective, right? So as your tiles change locations, people drag and drop them, the number of tiles changes, or you log in as a different user, number 6 is going to change. So let's change this. Instead of looking for ID, let's look for Grouplet ID that has this particular cref ID. And we want to make sure that is still clicked active, yes, because that's what we want to do. And we don't need that, and we don't need that. Let's give this a name. How about Grouplet ID test? And we will run it just to make sure. Now it's going to come back with an empty flag if we've done everything correctly, because it's not actually testing anything yet. I mean, some might say the fact that you can click and it works, that's a test by itself. Well, in that case, we would want to do a log.pass at the end to get it to run to a green. But by itself, PTF doesn't know this is a test. So we're on the homepage now, and it shows up there, div click Grouplet ID. That's fantastic, and it worked. It found it, it did it. Do you have other use cases for the Grouplet ID feature? If so, share your ideas in the comments below. At JSM Pros, we teach tips like this every day. Be sure to check out our website to see what we're offering next. Or do you prefer self-directed, self-paced, recorded training? Subscribe to gain access to all of our recorded on-demand content, including hands-on activities designed to run on your servers. Here's another idea. Do you have a team that wants to learn more? Give us a call and let's get something scheduled. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.